Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new PNSO release, and as you can see, we've got ourselves a Wuerhosaurus, and this one is definitely an exciting one because we don't really have all that many Wuerhosaurus figures. There are a few, but not as many as you might think, especially with such a beautiful species and very unique looking species of Stegosaur. But I think the PNSO version may end up being the best version that is out on the market. You know, you look at that image on the front of the box, and that is definitely a gorgeous looking version of a Wuerhosaurus. And of course, you can see the species name and everything up there. Once you turn the box around, pretty much the same thing on the other side. You do have a shot up here on the top, though, of course, for the figure. So let's pop the box open and check it out. Contained inside, we've, of course, got some fun stuff. First of all, we have the poster, and I'm very excited to see what the poster looks like. Oh, I'm crumpling it a little bit. It's not opening correctly. There we go. So let me put that up there, and then we'll take a quick look at that. So as you can see, that is a gorgeous image of a Wuerhosaurus. Really nice greens on the version that they have here on the artwork, but a little bit of a different color scheme on the version that we have as far as the actual figure itself goes. A little flashier on the figure itself. But again, as always, another incredible poster that is certainly worthy of a frame and up on any Dinosaur Collections wall. And then, of course, on top of that, we also have the booklet. You know, it's the standard booklet that you have been getting with PNSO releases like forever now. And you can see inside we have all the same stuff we usually do, lots of information about the dinosaur. We also have the photo gallery for the Wuerhosaurus, as well as some really nice images showing off the figure. I actually really quite like that version of it. Very similar colors on this, you know, artwork here to what we have, but just a little bit different. I actually like that lighter tone that they have included in that one. But again, you've got all kinds of really cool images, also some more beautiful artwork. Looks to actually be the image we were just taking a look at, but now the full image. Kind of wish they would have included the entire image in like a very long poster. I could have really enjoyed this one in a frame up on the wall. But as always, really excited to read this once the review is finished. And then the Wuerhosaurus itself, and look at how beautiful that figure is. Honestly, every single time I pull a PNSO model out of the packaging, out of the box, it almost leaves me breathless with how good their paint jobs consistently are anymore. Like, they have honestly risen to the top when it comes to the paint job aspect of their figures. Like, it really doesn't get better than what PNSO produces. It's always so smooth and so natural, and these dark washes that they've been applying have always been perfect as far as the application, just to give it so much more life. And this one, again, also has a really nice color scheme with the variations of browns, but the flashiness up there in those plates looks really cool. I have heard some people say that they're not necessarily a big fan of it, but I actually think it looks really good, and definitely nicely applied on mine. But again, another really nice looking figure, so as always, let's jump to a closer look at it and check it out from there. So starting up there at the head sculpt of our Wuerhosaurus, you can see it looks really good. Definitely almost like classic PNSO when it comes to their stegosaurs. Looks very reminiscent to the Stegosaurus itself that they've released fairly recently. We can see the nostrils right there. Very nice looking texturing to the skin in the face. You have a very dark brown for a large portion of the face, but a lighter variation of brown as you move along. You can also see like some slight reddish browns moving along through the course of the neck right there. We also have some larger scaling here on the underside of the throat and neck of the dinosaur, and you can definitely see that dark wash making sure all of that detail pops beautifully. As you move up here into the face, you can also see the eyes are painted really nicely and sport a gorgeous gloss coat. We have a darker brown leading down from the plates that stripes down along the course of the dinosaur as you move down that nice long neck for our Wuerhosaurus. As you lead down closer to the shoulder area, you can see a few skin wrinkles right there as you move down. You've also got some more of that striping, but it kind of lightens up a little bit right here before darkening as we move out a little further. As you lead down into the front leg, you can see a little variation of color moving down. It just kind of lightens a little bit before darkening back up as you move down into the foot. Nice pudgy kind of legs. You can see the elbow back there. Again, more of that patterning moving down before we transition to that darker brown. We also have the toes sculpted nicely, and the nails are painted with like a very light sort of a tan coloration. Moving back up into the stomach region of the Wuerhosaurus, you've got some nice skin wrinkles and stuff, especially back here behind that front leg, and of course you can also see the skin stretching off of the stomach there as this leg is kind of trailing. Very pudgy belly. It's definitely a chunky version of a Wuerhosaurus, that's for sure. But again, you can see that dark wash definitely amping up the detail here in the stomach region, all of those creases and wrinkles and everything moving along. Leading up here into the back, you do also see the plates. Again, the plates sport some nice detail, kind of like some cracks and crevices moving up, and again we have that bluish tone showing up really nicely with some reds. You can see some reds poking up here and there. It's a little bit more obvious on that plate as far as the reddish tone goes, and again it does pop really nicely on those plates, definitely adding a very nice element of flashiness. You can also see, especially right here in this area, how nice the scale detail looks. Very nice, very fine scale detail, but it looks incredible on the figure. There are also some larger osteoderms poking up here and there. We can very clearly see the hip bone right there. And I like how this patterning moves down and overtakes pretty much the entire thigh. That looks really cool with that darker tone leading down. It doesn't just continue to stripe through the body like you see up here. It overtakes almost the entire thigh. Again, that scale detail does look really crisp as you move down. Very big, muscular looking rear leg as you lead down. You can see some more muscle definition in the calf. You can also see the knee right there, and then leading into the rear foot sculpt. Again, it looks really good. You can see the nails, again, painted with that lighter tone. And then we lead up, and the stripes have now increased in size, and they're much bulkier as you move out the length of the tail. You can see a few more wrinkles, again, leading up. More of that really nice flashiness in the coloration of the plates up here, and a nice curve to the tail as you lead out, just an ever so slight curve for the dinosaur. The stripes increase in the amount as well, I think, as you move out. And then we've got the thagomizers out here at the end of the tail, which are basically just a dark brown tone of color, but they are very nicely sculpted overall. As you lead back along the underside, there's a much lighter tone of color for the underside, and again you can see that dark wash at play down here as well. We can see the cloaca present, the dark wash highlighting that as well, but there's also a little area of like a pinkish tone that's been applied right there. And you can also see more of that pinkish tone underneath the legs, which I really like. PNSO often does that, and I think it always looks so good on their figures. Again, we have more super crisp scale detail here moving along the underside of the dinosaur, leading up into the chest and then again into the throat. Obviously, the dinosaur has its head turned toward its right, so when we look at it from over here, the head is now turning away from us. You can yet again see how nice that all looks, moving down the entire, head, neck, everything looks really good, but fairly reminiscent to what we saw on the first side. Again, as you lead down here into the stomach, you can see these legs are just a little bit closer together as it's kind of showing the positioning of the dinosaur, maybe taking a step. Kind of looks like it was walking and it just kind of stopped to take a look around and stuff. Sort of looks like what I'm getting out of it as far as that appearance goes. You can see, though, how smooth that transition is from the nice, vibrant yellowish browns to that lighter tone of the underbelly. It's like really, really smooth. Again, the striping is super smooth as well. Again, PNSO is fantastic when it comes to applying their paint in a very natural way. But then as you lead out, you can again see a little bit of skin stretching here off of the tail with this leg taking a step forward, and again you lead out there through the length of the tail with the really nice slight curve. So overall, that is an absolutely gorgeous Wuerhosaurus, and I think it's definitely, in my opinion, probably my favorite on the market. I can't think of any other that would beat this one out. As far as a size goes, actually, I think I'll turn it around because the tail's aimed at me over here. You are looking at about 7¼ inches, roughly, I would say, or around 18½ centimeters, and then for a height, about 2½ inches or 6½ centimeters to the top of the plates. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Dilophosaurus Robert Muldoon, and the Collect A Human being next to our PNSO Wuerhosaurus, and you can see the Wuerhosaurus is roughly in like the Attack Pack, Danger Pack, Wild Pack size range, somewhere in that area, maybe slightly smaller. And then when it comes to a comparison with another more recently released Wuerhosaurus, we have the How Long Good version, which is a pretty fun figure, but I would definitely pick the PNSO version in this case. And then we also have the Vitae version of the Wuerhosaurus, also very similar in size to the PNSO version, just like the How Long Good release. We've also got a comparison with the PNSO Bajangsaurus here next to the Wuerhosaurus. Again, if you are a collector of PNSO, you happen to have a few Stegosaur species in your collection from them, this is another one that would definitely compare well, I think, with the Wuerhosaurus as far as, helping figure out the size. But for one final comparison, we have the PNSO Stegosaurus next to our Wuerhosaurus as well. Again, just helping to give you one final idea of a size. So this brand new PNSO Wuerhosaurus is a very cool figure. Definitely a surprising release from them, but one that I for sure welcome into my collection with open arms, because especially after looking at those comparisons with the previously released Wuerhosaurus figures from other companies, I can easily say that the PNSO version is far and away my favorite. I know there is also a Collect A version out, but I am definitely positive that the Collect A version wouldn't be as nice as this version, because the Collect A one was pretty old. It's an older release from them. But far and away, again, this is the best one on the market if you ask me. The sculpt is gorgeous, as it always is. That's no surprise. PNSO always gives you incredible sculpts, whether it be just the overall appearance or the fine detail, which is almost untouched by anyone. The detailing and sculpts of PNSO are so far off the charts, it's ridiculous. And you can see that here again with this Wuerhosaurus. The paint job, though, as well, is extremely well done. Maybe not the, most appealing overall for many people, because, some people from time to time complain about the usage of browns on PNSO releases, but it's never been a problem for me. Like, it never affects me, because I think that they always look so good, and they always come up with ways to give them a different style to them than any other previously released brown dinosaur. And same goes for this one. Not only that, but you also have some extremely appealing and very naturalistic tones of brown that they've used on this. I really quite like the patterning as well, and the flashiness up there in the plates is a really nice touch. Again, as I mentioned earlier, a few people I have seen mention that they're not the biggest fan of the brighter tones in the plates, but I think it looks really nice, and the application of it on mine is also quite nicely done. The pose as well is pretty fun, but nothing spectacular. It's just kind of walking along, so a nice natural pose, but nothing really too impressive that we need to complement the pose. It's just, again, pretty much looking like it was walking along and just kind of stopped to take a look around. But as a whole, this is definitely my favorite Wuerhosaurus out in my collection, and as per usual, another killer release from PNSO. So if you are interested in picking one up for yourself, I will include a link in the description to where you can do that on the Amazon and AliExpress PNSO stores. So make sure you check those links in the description, grab this gorgeous figure, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.